I saw the president in his interview talk about over 70% of his revenue is going to debt. So what you're admitting, in fact, our figure now is about 78%. What you are saying is that this revenue is not forthcoming and that we are going to face the crisis we have been predicting over 1 year now, which is the crisis of default. If you recall, when we had our first session here, Ghana had defaulted at 70%, and it had very similar circumstances to ours. Very similar. And we have the head of state admitting that that is where we are today, over 70%. Sri Lanka collapsed towards 90%. Lebanon, 80%. Argentina, 80%. Zambia, 80%. We can keep going on.
80% of what?
80% of revenue going to debt. So we are at a situation where it is inevitable that our predictions of debt default are coming. And in fact, I think it is now common knowledge in the market for anybody who is dealing first and foremost with domestic bonds. This year, Parliament passed loans, foreign and external loans of 313 billion. But a month later, the National Treasury gazetted external loans of 870 billion and domestic loans of 690 billion, bringing their total debt this financial year to almost 1.6 trillion. If you see the domestic debt of 690, they have 374 billion shillings that is going towards redemptions. Those are rollovers of debt previously taken, maturities. Now, what I'm understanding, and I think this may have been triggered by a lot of our discussions, may have been triggered by the amount of tax revenue going to debt, the questions of insolvency. But one of the biggest triggers was in November, where Standard Chartered Bank said 52% of our bonds we are liquidating, even if it's at a loss of about 2 billion shillings. And it has continually done that. Other banks are following suit. So what is happening now is that this 374 billion in redemptions, people don't want to roll over. They want their cash. Bondholders, whether it's banks, insurance companies, pensions, individuals, want their cash. And that has precipitated a total drawdown on the overdraft facility at CBK, because when government does not have cash to pay those redemptions, it takes an overdraft at CBK.
And what's the limit at CBK?
It is 5% of the previous year's audited accounts. So that is 91 billion. Today, it is at 95 billion. It is at 95. So they have no more leeway.
And the redemptions are 378.
Yes, they have no more leeway. So I can tell you in the next month or two, as a maximum, you are going to have a crisis on domestic debt of untold proportions. So you're talking about a major cash flow problem for each and every one of us in this country.
Unfolding.
Unfolding.
Armageddon.
Very, very, very soon.
And that's the outlook for 2020.
It is very soon.
Yes, very soon. I mean, a lot of the people I'm talking to are predicting the next 6 months. I believe we'll see a crisis in the next 3 months.
Jimmy, when you were here at the beginning, the first quarter of last year, I've been keeping quiet because what I'm hearing here today, I heard it Q1 last year. And you predicted that, you know what, in fact, by July, you guys, things will be so bad. It's a year later, Jimmy. It hasn't happened.
Yes.
Actually, it has.
And now you're saying it's going to happen again in the next 3 months.
Actually, it has.
First and foremost, I don't recall July. I remember September.
Yes, it was September.
It was September. My target was September, after the first budget of this regime. And you can see I am not too wrong. Tell me if any county has been paid their dues in the new budget.
What do you mean by dues?
You know, there is something called a first charge. First charge items on the revenue are debt, county, and pensions. Since the new budget, I want you to tell me how much money has gone to counties, and it's a first charge before salaries of government. So government has defaulted on that expenditure. It has not remitted money to counties.
On time.
What do you mean on time? Find out how much has been remitted. Apart from salaries that have been going to counties, please tell me a lump sum percentage of the 385 billion that is supposed to be paid in this financial year as revenue share to counties. The president himself said they are delayed with salaries. They are rolling over and they are paying salaries very late. Okay? They are very clearly having a huge increase in pending bills. They are defaulting on pending bills. A lot of them. The same government came out and said they are going to pay the Eurobond. And they were going to pay part of it by December.
Yes.
Why have they not paid it? Because the people they expected to finance it, can you imagine we are financing the principal? We don't have the cash. The people who were expecting to finance it are saying we want liability management. Liability management is debt distress. And they started saying it in November. October, November, and December.
Who are these people?
Trade Development Bank, for example. Standard Chartered Bank. All right? Those, all of them, they tried to group them up together. And they said we want liability management, which is distress, debt distress exchange. So it is here with us.
Okay.
It is here with us. We may be wrong in terms of a month or two, but I can assure you, just like CT has articulated, it is here with us. It is our clear and present danger. It is what is affecting each and every one of our lives every single day, making life unbearable for us.